your background fits exactly what Race Service is doing right now.
I'm one of those kids that grew up racing go-karts. So I grew up in motorsports, but I was also a creative kid.
Yeah.
I loved drawing and painting cars.
I mean, you directed music videos, right? You worked in the gaming, video game industry.
We specialize in taking the worlds of automotive and motorsports and connecting that to culture. If you focus more on what's in your heart and what you're truly passionate about, and you stick to it, your talent can also be your means of existence.
Yeah. You practically invented the term car culture, right, with Speedhunters.
There's a big scene of stretch tires in Belgium. The sparkly, candy-colored paint came from hot rodding into drifting.
Yeah.
And if someone built a car, I wanted to see it that day, now. Biggest phobia would be large groups of drunk people.
Hey everyone, how's it going? On today's episode of The Creative Drive, brought to you by Racer.com, we interview a true maverick. He's the complete opposite of doing it by the book. As creative director at Race Service, Rod Chong has helped brands swap the safe lane for the fast lane, blending racing, street culture, and just enough chaos to make the traditionalists sweat. We talk about what it takes to break the rules and get hired to do it, and frankly, that might be Rod's real superpower. Enjoy this episode of The Creative Drive. Hey, Rod. Welcome to the show. Welcome to The Creative Drive.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
I thought you'd be a perfect guest because this podcast is called The Creative Drive. And we try to merge automotive and creative. And that's
I am creative.
You're the guy.
I've had a long pathway working with cars in different ways as well. Yeah.
So you are currently partner and creative director at Race Service, right?
That's right.
That's your official title.
Not the official title, but that's what I say when I introduce myself.
Oh, okay.
The official title is Chief Creative Officer, but that just sounds a bit pretentious, doesn't it?
Okay.
And functionally, I mostly work as a creative director, sometimes executive producer on different projects at Race Service. Yeah.
Hey there, quick break from the drive to share something I'm genuinely excited about. If you live and breathe car culture like I do, you've got to check out Racer Plus. It's the new streaming platform for motorsports, rally, off-road, drifting, bikes, it's all there. We stream every stage of the World Rally Championship, Full Dakar Rally, Crandon Off-Road, DTM, Le Mans, World Superbike, the Isle of Man TT, and even Formula Drift. FD fans, this one's for you. It's all in one place, even these podcasts. And here's the kicker. You can bundle Racer Plus with a full year Racer magazine subscription. That's 6 beautifully designed collectible issues delivered to your door. It's one of the few magazines out there that still feels like a piece of art. I even contribute to the magazine too, and we're really proud of this product. So whether you're into drifting like I am or off-road like I am too, just inspired by the stories behind the scene, this bundle hits everyone. Head over to racer.com/bundle and sign up now. Let's keep driving the car culture forward. So for some of the audience that are not aware of Race Service, I know all the awesome things that you guys have been doing, and I appreciate you guys' work immensely. Can you explain to us what Race Service does?
Race Service is a creative agency. Sometimes we say creative squad, but officially we're a creative agency, and we specialize in taking the worlds of automotive and motorsports and connecting that to culture, very broadly speaking. So what that means practically is that a automotive group or brand, might be a racing team, a racing organization, or a car company will come to us and they will want to be connecting into different aspects of contemporary culture. What I mean by that is fashion, art, design, music, gaming, and for lack of a better term, influencers. I hate that word. So we tend to do a lot of special projects that are going between filmmaking, because we're very well known for our crew that run around the world pointing cameras, usually at cars.
Yep.
But we also do strategy, creative strategy. We also do curated experience or experiential design for parties. So say a Formula One team, like say Red Bull, will come to us and they want to put a party on in a city when there's a Grand Prix. So they'll come to us for that type of thing. And we also do and manufacture capsule collections. So streetwear, fashion collections, usually in collaboration with an automotive brand. So in the past, we would have done that in collaboration with AMG or Porsche or McLaren. Currently, we're doing a big capsule fashion collection with Michelin, and we're partnered up with them. So that kind of gives you a sense of what RACESERVICE does. The other thing I'd say about RACESERVICE is that we're also a space and community hub. And we're quite well known for our location in Mid-City in Los Angeles. And the first Friday of every month, we put on an event called Rise and Shine, where we curate cars in a certain theme. We have a DJ, we serve coffee, and our community come out. But we also put on other types of events as well. Sometimes they're with brands, sometimes they're our own events. Yeah.
This is Racer, your all-access pass to the best in motorsports, performance, and car culture. Get Racer Plus for live races, extended highlights, breaking news, and fan-favorite build and enthusiast shows, all in one place. From Formula Drift to off-road mayhem.
A full-blown nail-biter.
Supercars to grassroots brawls, garages to rare collectors. Stream it all, anytime, anywhere. This is about machines and the people who move the culture forward. And when the screen fades, the story continues in Racer Magazine, a collectible trusted by champions, creators, and connoisseurs. Every page, a deeper dive into the soul of speed and performance. Racer Plus and Racer Magazine, the ultimate bundle. Built for the obsessed, powered by passion.
Your background fits exactly what RACESERVICE is doing right now. I mean, you directed music videos, right? You worked in the gaming, video game industry. You practically invented car culture with the term car culture, right? With Speedhunters. How did you originally, you're originally from Canada, right? From Vancouver.
I grew up in Vancouver,
how did you
Canada.
get, take us back to how you got started in all of this?
Well, when you meet car enthusiasts and you ask them about their childhoods and their love of cars, those two things usually intersect.
Yeah.
I'd say 9 times out of 10, if you ask someone that's crazy about cars or has made it their career or livelihood, usually goes back to childhood. And I'm no different. I'm one of those kids that grew up racing go-karts. So I grew up in motorsports, but I was also a creative kid.
Yeah.
I loved drawing and painting cars, maybe a bit more than driving. The wheel-to-wheel racing, maybe I was too much of a sensitive artist kid. So that was the template. And my father also owned a car stereo installation business. So we had a lot of these, the street cars, the modified cars, the hot rods, the muscle cars of Vancouver, Canada, would come through his shop to get their stereos installed. So I grew up very much integrated into car culture, although of course, no one used that term at the time.
Yeah.
And then that passion kept going as a teenager. We'd go to a lot of races, and we would eventually get me a car even before I had my license. I had a Cowlook Beetle when I was 15. You had very little ground clearance, would scrape the ground all the time. So that was the foundation. But I very much was an artist. Drawing and painting cars was probably the main thing, and building model cars. And so that led me going to art school. I went to OCAD in Toronto, and the thinking at the time was to design cars for a living because I was always drawing them. But then I somehow got distracted by cameras. As soon as I picked up a camera, something happened. Yeah. And so I started more shooting, editing videos. Sometimes more in a fashion direction as well. I have this long association with my oldest friend, Errolson Hugh, from this Berlin-based technical apparel label acronym. And at the time I was in college, he was also in college doing fashion.
Oh, okay.
And I was starting to make all these fashion videos for him. And that kind of led to a slightly different direction, where I started directing music videos very young, like 20 years old.
Okay.
And that was the beginning of things. But I found I always would try and put cars into these music videos. And by the time that first career fizzled out, I had to do a bit of soul searching. And I went back to the thing that I loved, which was cars and motorsports. At the time I was living in London, and I just started buying all the Autosport magazines. I started buying a lot of books and going to races left, right, and center. And it seemed like that obsession, when fully unhinged and fully fueled, led to me becoming a bit of a crazy anorak of motorsports history. And it was that love that fueled me to get more involved with this term. You've heard of modding?
When you build
we take a video
in
game,
the gaming, right?
and then
in
you
game.
make it into something else.
Yeah.
So at the time, this is around the year 2000 or so, there was an EA game called Sports Car GT, which later evolved into the EA F1 games. And there was this whole scene of people that were modifying these games and building their own car sets on the tracks. And I thought this sounded amazing. And because I'd already had a full 10-year career in media, I knew how to do things professionally. So I put a crew together, and we started modding these games, and we'd make sports car games. Le Mans 24 Hours. At the time, GT1 was a big thing. This is late 90s, early 2000s. And one of those mods was called Prototype C, became very famous. And off the back of that, I suddenly got headhunted, and a lot of my crew as well got headhunted, and we suddenly overnight became video game developers.
You guys were just doing this for fun, though, right?
We're doing it for fun.
Yeah.
But I think that's a pretty good lesson in life, that if you focus more on what's in your heart and what you're truly passionate about, and you stick to it, that can really fuel a career.
Yeah.
And a fulfilling life as well.
Yeah.
That kind of laid the foundation for everything that's gone on since.
I see. So what kind of like media were you consuming, like growing up, that got you into cars and learning about motorsports and things like that?
Well, I've been on the planet a little while, but it's worth noting that for me, it was going to car races. It wasn't media per se.
I see.
Because when I go to the go-kart races, the go-kart track was right beside a racing track. It's called Westwood. And there are always races on. So in between me racing on the racing track, I would always go and watch. And occasionally this big race series would come through Vancouver, Canada, called Trans Am. And they had these Porsche 935s and Decon Monzas, this type of car. That kind of leads to where things have gone for me later. Maybe we'll get into that. But that led to a lifelong passion. But the one media that I was consuming as a kid was Road and Track magazine. And I'd go to the library, and you could get them at the library, and I'd take the same ones out over and over again. And there was one or two every year they would have a report on Le Mans 24 Hours, and I became very fascinated by Le Mans. And I'd take the same magazine out over and over and over again, just reading about Le Mans. Yeah. So Road and Track, I would say, was the one thing. Yeah.
Okay. And then so you got headhunted.
Yes.
By EA?
No,
not yet.
There was another small video game company that had, they're called Simbin. And they had just come out with a game called GTR. It's a very famous game in the history of sim racing. So it was that studio that headhunted me, and they wanted a second team to make a game that they were starting called GT Legends. And I designed and produced that game as the leader, even though it was my first time.
Yeah.
So I did that project. This is about 2004, 2005. And then off the back of that, I decided I wanted to really have a go at video game design, video game production, and really try to have a deep career. And the thing to note about the music video career is I always felt like I was winging it. I immediately out of art school, I didn't even finish art school. I suddenly was a director. And I never felt that I focused enough on the craft of directing.
I see.
I don't think looking back, I was a very good director. I had a lot of very interesting, creative, innovative ideas and a lot of willpower and creative vision. but I just didn't have the craft down. So I made a promise to myself that I'm going to learn how to do this properly. So I wanted to join EA, but not in leadership. I took a job in the middle management as a mid-level video game designer. And for me, the 8 years I spent at EA, Speedhunters is part of that, but we'll get into that later. But that 8 years, I say, is like going to college. I learned how to do projects at scale. I learned how to work on a creative project with 100 people. I learned how to public speak. I learned how to collaborate because I was a sensitive little artist before that.
That was your education.
Yeah,
yeah.
It very much. I had to go from being this funny gothic kid that was super shy and come out of my shell and learn how to interface, just grow up and become a functional creative. And I look back on that period of time as being so important in my trajectory as a professional creative.
What made you realize that you had to change?
The failure of my first career, the failure of my directing career, the fact that I had so much promise. I was working with bands like Marilyn Manson, Nine Inch Nails, very early on.
Right.
And I was getting accolades, I was winning awards, but then it kind of stopped. And if the work that I was doing, the music videos, I'd say 1 in 5 was very good. And the rest of them weren't that great. And I didn't have the interpersonal skills as well to interface with the record labels, the managers, even the bands. So I really had to come out of my shell. My shyness was crippling me, my inability to articulate and speak. If you were interviewing me here right now, me in my 20s, it would be a disaster, an utter disaster. So that took a lot of work.
I see.
And staring in the mirror.
Yeah. I see. Oh, so you decided, okay, I gotta get my act together. So I'm going to join EA and learn what this thing is all about and go deep.
Yeah. When I was younger, I patterned myself to be a bit of an artiste. Maybe more how I show myself now, this kind of off-kilter, futuristic person, but it was more defensive. I would separate myself from others. And during that period of time, I more tried to become more like a regular person, if that makes sense, to disarm my defenses and just try and be open to people and become one of the team at EA on Need for Speed.
Yeah.
So I really tried to grow.
And how did that go? So you joined EA, right? And then when was this? Which year was this?
2006. So the first game I worked on was Need for Speed Carbon.
Okay. And what were you tasked to do with the game?
I remember my first day at EA on Need for Speed. They put me into this room full of other video game designers. And the room was all whiteboard. Okay. Literally every surface of the room you could write on. And there was someone standing at the front and they were all talking and making charts. I joined halfway through the production of Carbon.
Okay.
And they're making charts and talking about all these game features and multiplayer and non-interactive sequence and storylines and characters. And I had no idea what was going on.
Okay.
I'd never been in a brainstorm session like that. Where you have someone that's formally facilitating and then there's contribution around the table with a group of creatives. Right. Never seen that before in my entire life. And the whole process of a large team working together, it is software development, but it's also creative development. Programmers, artists, producers, managers, marketing people, executives. I'd never been around any of this before. So there was a lot to learn. Right. It was definitely a challenging time, very stressful, but somehow made it through. Yeah. And after a while, I'd started to excel. Right. By the time, the later part of my time at Electronic Arts, I reached a creative director level. And then they told me some of the bosses said, hey, we want to make a website, a car culture destination. That's what they said. And come up with something. So I went on vacation to New Zealand for 2 weeks, did a lot of research, and I came up with this premise of Speedhunters. And remember, this was around the time that Web 2.0 was really taking off. There's a lot of talk of blogging, self-publishing, all this. So we put together a crew of people. There were about 5 of us, and then we came up with this premise that we were going to document car culture on the ground.
Yeah.
And try and unify different scenes. Because we noted that if you looked at magazines at the time, because there weren't that many media outlets, the Jalopnik already existed, but I think that was about it.
Was there Autoblog? Was still already
Autoblog
around?
might have been going then too,
Yeah.
but that was more just straight automotive news. But there wasn't anyone that was documenting different aspects of enthusiast culture.
Yeah.
And also digging into the roots of things, the cultural anthropology as such.
Yeah.
And we decided we were going to unify car culture as a lofty goal. And I also had this maybe tougher objective. It's funny because there's a magazine here, but I decided I was going to take on print media and I was going to undo some of the things. Because I noted someone would build a car and then it would be photographed and then 2 or 3 months would go by. Or Tokyo Auto Salon would happen, and then you might get some little report 3 months later.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what was happening today.
Yeah.
And if someone built a car, I wanted to see it that day.
Yeah.
Now. I wanted to know Daikoku, what is going on now? What's happening at the Nürburgring right now? What's happening in Australia right now? What's happening in the UK? So we set up this lofty goal, but I think we did achieve it, interestingly.
Yeah. I think Speedhunters was one of the sites that actually like took on like automotive in like globally, right? Because many of the U.S. sites that were big were, dominantly North America. And they would just completely ignore Europe and Japan, for example, and in Asia in general.
Yeah.
But, you guys had like contributors all around the world, like posting stuff every single minute of the day. And it was like, it was awesome to see, and it was like hard to even keep up with you guys. Like I think for the other, the magazines, it was like impossible to keep up with Speedhunters.
I didn't sleep for 6 years because I had stories coming in 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And we made this commitment that we would post every day.
Yeah.
I was there from the launch. I was the founder, 2008, and then I left in 2014.
Yeah.
It's over 10 years ago now. Usually I don't even remember that I did it. It's a little while ago. But it was definitely an interesting time. The example I use when we look at the initial strategy and inspiration is that if you imagine someone that's living in Australia and they like Japanese cars, they might know what's going on with the scene locally. There's a lot of GTRs, GTR in Australia. And then they would know what's happening in Japan.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't know what was happening in SoCal, which has quite an amazing JDM scene, or the UK.
Yeah.
The UK has got a very advanced Japanese car enthusiast scene, especially GTRs and all that at the time.
Or even in Texas nowadays, right?
Yeah. There was a moment, I think, around when we started, or late 2000s, the saying was there are more GTRs in the UK than in Japan. Now that's all changing because they're coming to the US.
Yeah.
So we wanted to give that vision, or say you live in Sweden and you're into hot rods, because there's a big hot rod scene in Sweden. You would know what was happening in the US, but you wouldn't know what was happening in the hot rod scene in Japan, which is very advanced. So we thought, well, there's all these pockets, but there's these big holes of global awareness. And we also noted that there'd be different aspects of car customization that would travel between scenes, like stretch tires, for example. There's a big scene of stretch tires in Belgium, right?
Yeah.
Or a shaved engine bay came from VWs. And then that went over to, and I think it was hot rods before that. Then that went into Japanese.
Yeah.
Or there's aspects of the sparkly candy-colored paint came from hot rodding into drifting.
Yeah.
So I'm aware of this because I am very focused on all the different aspects of enthusiast culture, modified cars, custom cars.
Right.
So I could see this myself because I'm a bit more agnostic. I'm just not into one thing.
Yeah.
So we wanted to showcase all of these different scenes and create commonalities.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really probably one of the things that I noticed, or we all noticed, like watching or looking at the site, is like you were very agnostic and didn't judge any type of like segment of automotive or vertical.
Fake
right?
wheels, so.
Yeah.
Except for fake wheels.
Fake wheels, yeah. No, I mean, there's that's the curation part,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That you bring to the table. I mean, it had to be authentic, it had to be real. But if there was someone in Japan or wherever doing something cool on cars, you guys would cover it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That was, I think, was really cool. Whereas the old media would focus on one thing, and really just have kind of blinders, right? And wouldn't look at anything else coming from.
It's worth noting that EA funded this whole thing.
Yeah.
And that allowed me to hire people.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was year 2 or year 3 of Speedhunters, we brought Larry Chen in.
Yeah.
And we gave him a salary.
All those guys are doing great now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we had the backing and enough funds that we could bring in different photographers. Usually they're more photography focused than writing.
Yeah.
And then over time, it just started to evolve.
Yeah. Like Dino in Japan, right? It's like it was perfect.
Well, Dino already had a very strong career going.
Yeah.
And but that was a very good collaboration with Dino. Yeah.
What was it like internally though? Was it were you like given like full reign, like, hey, we're going to give you a budget, you do whatever you feel like works? I mean, how was it like? Because it is a big company, right?
Yeah. Looking back, I don't know how I did it all, because I was also still working on video games. I was still designing video games, and traveling and speed hunting. And we had another project called Team Need for Speed as well. Yeah. We sponsored Formula D, and we had a drifting team. Yeah,
Frederick and Powers, right?
Yeah, Powers, Mad Mike for the first year. We brought Mad Mike. We're Frederick Oswald's first big U.S. sponsor. Yeah, and involved with the career of Vonnegut Jr. as well. And we had a GT3 racing team in Europe as well. We entered Nürburgring 24 hours, Dubai 24 hours. Right. So I was traveling all over the place doing all this stuff. But yeah, I was given a budget every year, which included the sponsorship programs, Team Need for Speed, the GT3 program, Formula D program, and Speedhunters. And I oversaw all of that stuff.
What did you learn the most from like having that big budget and having to sort of like do all this? Basically, you ran the motorsport program and the media program.
Well, there was a team. I did have managers and producers helping me.
How big was the team?
There were only about, inside EA, there were maybe 2 of us that worked on this stuff. And then everyone else was freelance. Yeah. And there were a couple other contributors like Andy Blackmore, who at the time, he's a famous livery designer now. Yeah. I was involved with Racer, I imagine. And but at the time he worked at Need for Speed designing the body kits. So he would contribute as well from time to time. But for the most part, there were about 2 of us that ran the program. Yeah. What did I learn the most? I think creative leadership. I look back now on, I think some of the habits that I had weren't that great. And I was maybe too tough, or...
Were you a tough boss?
I didn't... Sometimes, yeah. And I think some of the management, the ways that I was managing wasn't the best. I've learned a lot since. And the way I operate now, because I still work with large teams, the way I operate now is totally different from the way I operated then. Yeah.
How do you operate now?
I try, and I've learned the art of the soft opinion.
Okay.
Meaning that you don't always need to have, a hard opinion. That you have to lay out the big vision, the foundation, and have very clear roles and responsibilities. I'm sounding corporate now. But as you bring in different creatives, they know what they're supposed to do. They know what the objective is. And you give them a container to work in. Yeah. And their goals. Yeah. And then you should sit back and let them do what they do. Yeah. I tended to be a bit more micromanaging at the time. Or even competitive with some of the managers and people that I was working with.
I see.
So I try now to more focus on empowerment, and the way I judge the success of a project is, did we enjoy working on it? If we have a client, did they enjoy working with us? Was it smooth? And were we running a tight ship?
Yeah.
And did everyone know what they were doing? And were we tripping over each other or not? Were there politics involved? What went down?
Yeah.
So I view that as my role, to make sure that you set up a project well, you put the right people into the right roles, and then you empower them to do good work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that comes with age or experience? Because I see a lot of, I see a lot of leaders that don't, like, even in their, they've had 20, 30 years of supposedly doing collaborative things, and they're still, backseat driving, for example, or they're still, just like, this is the way it is, my road, or
There's a science to leadership.
Mm-hmm.
There's specialists, there's books, there's expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And as I developed my career, because I did have a stint, well, I suppose I still do, is at C-level, where you're responsible for a lot of people, and you're running a project that might have 100 to, say, 30 people working together. I took that quite seriously. So as I reached that level with my career, I read lots of books and tried to develop that skill set. Have you ever heard of this premise, promoted to incompetence?
Yeah, like failing forward.
Upwards. Yeah, failing
upwards.
forward. Yeah. The example is, you imagine that there's an incredible software developer, just the most amazing programmer. And they're in a team of programmers, but they are genius level, and they can do the work of 10 people. They're just so good.
Uh-huh.
So they get given more responsibility, and now they have 3 more people reporting to them, but they just do that work for them.
Mm.
And I remember there was a leader at Need for Speed, a creative director, and he had a team of designers, and the designers would design part of the video game, and they would have a presentation the next day to the executives, and overnight he would rewrite their documents and present his design.
I see.
He'd be competing
Right.
with the people that he was supposed to be empowering.
Right.
So then the software developer just keeps doing all the work, but they're performing well, but he's doing the work of all these people, or he or she. And then, but they're still doing incredible things. They're just an innovator. And then this person gets promoted to VP status. They're no longer programming, but they literally have no skill set for management.
Right.
No soft skill, no people skill, zero.
Yeah.
They are just an incredible programmer.
Yeah.
And that's where things really start to fall apart.
Right.
Usually everyone will start quitting. They're micromanaging because they don't have the skill set. Leadership itself is completely different from working and touching the project. And that's maybe the paradox of the creative world, is as you become more senior, say you're an art director, you become a senior art director, or you become a chief brand officer or something like this. The more responsibility that you take on, the less that you really should be touching the work itself. Or an example would be an art director that has graphic designers working for them. The art director really shouldn't be picking up the mouse and drawing the typeface anymore. Yeah. They should be empowering those people, but often that doesn't work, right? Yeah. They'll micromanage away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Micromanagement is an interesting subject.
It is. Yeah. It's a leadership conversation too. We were just having this conversation upstairs about, when exactly how you were saying it, right? The higher you get up, you have to be thinking more strategically and less tactically about doing the work yourself, right?
Yeah.
So there's sort of a balance where as higher you go up, you have to start thinking more strategically and less, tactically.
Yeah.
And a lot of, great tactical people, like a finance person or like a software engineer, I guess, when they get promoted, they have no strategic experience at all.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like where a lot of problems arise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've learned sometimes I simply do not give the solution. I can see there's a group of people and I can see exactly what we should do.
Yeah.
But I often don't tell them what we should do. I let them churn a little bit.
Yeah.
I let them try and discover, or I coax them.
Mm-hmm.
Because in creative projects that have a large number of people or a team of any sort, you have to try and develop the team members.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we're quite focused on at RACESERVICE. We're very team focused,
Mm-hmm.
and we're trying to grow everyone on the teams to develop themselves, so that the different squads that we have that work with different groups, whether we're doing the Ferrari F1 program, which we're quite involved with, or whether we're doing a program with AMG or Porsche, there's going to be, we've got a group up at Car Week right now with Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
There's different groups of people that have are focused on different projects at any one time.
Yeah.
But we have to make sure that they all can execute beautifully.
Right.
And so you have to really focus on growing that team.
Mm-hmm.
There's that adage that you're only as good as your team, as your squad.
Yeah.
Which is very true. And getting back to what we were talking about earlier, I did not understand this in my first career music videos.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to do everything myself. I didn't have that killer Voltron team, and as a result, the work wasn't as good as it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, so when you go and like get a new client or a business, like how much are you involved in like getting those clients?
I am someone that is, but we're talking about introvert, extrovert before we started the recording.
Yeah.
I am an introvert, but I am also someone that is somewhat connected. And I'm fairly social as well. So I do spend a lot of time being out in the world, and but I have to do it in my own introverted way. So for example, myself and a business colleague from RACESERVICE, we just went to Goodwood Festival of Speed. We spent 3 days there, and our focus there was to meet people. Yeah. And we already have some deep connections with the Goodwood organization, also McLaren I'm very close to, and Lotus. So we'll go and be in their VIP areas. And when you're in those VIP areas, there's other VIPs and executives and people from within the motorsports and automotive industries. So you get introduced, and that's how you continue to network. Yeah. But it's a shared love of racing. It's a shared love of motorsport. Yeah. And I don't find it really hard work as such. But there's other moments where I will have an attack of social anxiety, like if there's a mixer. You're at a conference, and then at the end of the day, you have to go to the mixer. I can't deal with it. Yeah.
It's like when, it's mixing time, mingle. It's like, I can't do that either.
It's kind of forced.
Yeah, I can't do that either. It's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I do sometimes give myself the challenge as an introvert, if I'm at a art opening or an industry event, to find one person. Connect with one person. Yeah. And I usually just look around the room and just see who do I think is interesting. It's just an instinctual thing. Yeah. And sometimes you do meet pretty intriguing people that way. Yeah. I'm going tonight to a gathering for creatives that a friend of mine is putting on. Okay. That is a dinner, and there's talks and group discussions. And I met this person at an AI conference. And the reason I went up to this person is because I thought she had a cool hairstyle. Okay. I looked around the world, thought, oh, you seem cool. I'll talk to you. Yeah. And we hit it off, and it turned out she's this agency person, and her partner's an amazing composer. Yeah. And we become friends and creative colleagues as such. In the creative world, friendship and professional relationships kind of merge together. Maybe automotive is a bit like that too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's all part of it.
Yeah. You mentioned AI. Like, what do you? How are you thinking about AI and creative? Where's that going?
Well, there's a few ways we can look at it. Some analysts are saying that by 2030, 80% of jobs will be gone. So there's definitely a big wave coming. There's a massive shift in society and economies coming. It's already happening. I was the deputy CEO of RoboRace around 2017, 2018. And at the time, we sent one of our main researchers to the World Economic Forum. And at the time, the analysts and forecasters are saying that in the next 30 years, we'll see the same amount of development and changes in society as the last 3,000 years, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that that's coming. So we have to strategize. We have to get ready.
Yeah.
And we have to learn how we're going to be working with our careers, or even we think about this at Race Service. What shifts do we have to make, and how do we strategize that? So there's a few ways you can slice it. One, you can look at the importance of community and human connection and see that communities and IRL connection, like you and I chatting here today, will become even more important.
Yeah.
And we're even seeing that trend now with private social networks, because people don't want to be marketed to. They don't want these bots in their conversations.
Yeah.
They don't want the algorithms reprogramming their brains.
Right.
So we're seeing that, say, Discord communities, or even private, for lack of a better place, Facebook groups.
Yeah.
There are more of these things happening.
Yeah.
And I'm even active in those spaces. This coming Saturday, I have a in-person creative meetup for people that come to my workshops and that type of thing. So that's one aspect, a greater importance on IRL connection community.
Yeah.
But in terms of the tool set and how that's going to impact the creative world, obviously there's a massive impact.
Yeah.
My take on it is that it's very important that there's still human inspiration, human skill in the mix.
Yeah.
I do not believe in generative work, that you type a prompt and then the AI gives you its approximation of something that is a grand averaging of what it scraped off the internet. It can't come up with anything new, or it might combine things that are new maybe, but ultimately I believe that humanity's looking for human stories, and they're looking to still be inspired by the artists themselves. So if you have two AI bots in a movie talking to each other, and maybe they're trying to give a feeling of romance between two generative so-called actors, I don't believe that will be the same as if there's two real actors doing things. So my belief is that there still should be writers, there still should be actors, there still should be cameras pointing at things. But that said, the tool sets that are coming in are absolutely incredible, what you'll be able to do. I was at an AI conference last year, CogX.
Yeah.
And
I think I saw you there.
Oh yeah.
You
were there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
In right in Mid City, right? Like
yeah. So were you in the session where they're talking about the future of filmmaking?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, at the time they were saying that in the very near future, or maybe even it's this year now, that about 4 people will be able to make a science fiction film, which is an incredible prospect.
Yeah.
But so I view these tools as a way that you can accelerate what you're doing, but you still need core creative vision.
Yeah.
And creative vision, creative curation will never go away. So that movie that's being made, there, I would hope still there's an actor. Maybe they're acting in front of a white screen, and then their acting is being applied to different characters. And there's still a director that is determining what's going to happen, even if it's filmed virtually.
Yeah.
So if you view more, there might be more animated things that happen, or there might be an easier ability to make science fiction films.
Yeah.
But hopefully there's still human ingenuity, and artists are still able to do what they do, and creatives are still able to do what they do. It's funny, AI came in and we thought it would make it easier for us to clean our apartments, but instead the AI came in to be poets and writers and painters and filmmakers. Why did that happen first?
Who knew, right? Yeah, exactly. We didn't think that would be the first thing that would come, which is really, really interesting.
But fundamentally, I believe, and I advise the creatives I work with, you have to learn these tools.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely right. You have to learn how to use these tools to empower yourself. You can't ignore it because I think deep down humans can tell the difference between generative, something that's been generated, and watching, as you say, like a human being doing something.
Yeah.
It's just I think instinctively we can tell the difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But maybe at some point we won't be able to tell the difference, when that's kind of a scary thought.
It's still, though, the storyline that is underneath creative projects still drives cultural weight and value. I give the example to my students. I guess we should probably explain why I keep saying students.
Yeah. You have this thing going on. Yeah, you're a mentor, and you're
well, we'll talk about that in a second. But imagine two paintings, right? And the paintings look almost the same.
Yeah.
And one painting is at a flea market, and the artist is trying to sell it for $5, and they cannot sell it. Maybe they can sell it for $1. And there's another example of a painting that looks almost the same, and it's going to sell for $750,000. Why?
So you want me to answer this question?
I want you to answer that question.
Okay, so the question is, why is this same looking picture being sold for $750,000?
Yeah.
And the other one is
$5.
$5.
What's the difference? Because I believe that this gives a clue as to hopefully what will continue to happen with cultural weight and value for creativity in the future.
Well, the value of something is only there because of perception and what the number of people think that this is valued at.
And the artist.
Yeah.
Right? The cultural weight of the artist. And a collector who's coming in will want to be joining the storyline of that artist. Yeah. And it's the weight and reputation of that artist and their place in society and what they've done. And so we have to remember that will continue. Yeah. Human beings will still have communities. Things might look very different, but that still will happen. There still will be human culture. And it's the relationship of human culture to the artistic outputs that will still need to be in place, which is why I believe that some generative piece from some anonymous person it has no value. It may be that there's an amazing, well-known artist with cultural weight who's utilizing AI as part of their process. That's different. Yeah. But those stories should still happen. If there's a film that utilizes artificial intelligence, but Tom Cruise has been involved in that program, and Tom Cruise has acted in some way, maybe it's a totally different filmmaking pipeline, but Tom Cruise is involved. That will still have more weight than some random film that's just generative. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what they thought about, digital art too in the beginning, right? Yeah. If it's digital, it's like, why you didn't even draw it yourself? It was done on a computer. But if Beeple does it, right, it's like worth a lot because it's just the cultural weight and the number of followers he has and all that kind of stuff, right?
I was at a documentary film about early electronic music on Sunday, and some of the bands that they were interviewing in the late 70s, they went up on stage and they didn't have a drummer.
Okay, yeah.
They had one keyboard and one singer.
Right.
And all of the managers, the record labels, the engineers behind the mixing desk were all saying, this isn't music.
Right.
You're not a band.
Right. Yeah.
And now look at the nature of electronic music, right?
Yeah.
Do you always need a drummer if you're at a dance EDM festival?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So sometimes it just takes a little while to get used to these things.
Yeah. Right? No, totally. When I first heard about like live DJing, I had no idea what they were talking about. They were performing with, with a computer and electronic, with gear.
Pretending to turn knobs.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
It's hot.
So tell us about your, what do you mean by your students and your teaching and things like that?
Well, I've had a 30-year creative career, which we've looked at here. And I was talking, remember earlier, about being this shy kid that could barely speak. But still, I managed to have a full-time creative career. I've never had a job that wasn't creative before, except for 1 week loading boxes at IKEA, but they fired me because it didn't work out very well as a teenager. So I would like to see, can I contribute something? I'm just getting to that age perhaps where I feel like I should try and contribute something to the world. And I believe that that's the one thing I can contribute is I can help young creatives, the sensitive souls, and give them some toolkits and tell them what you need to have running in your practice in order to find your way to a full-time creative career where your talent can also be your means of existence. Yeah. And then the other type of person that I also try and help are the stalled creatives. Because it does happen that you may have a good run and then you feel like you need to do something else. You're no longer fulfilled. I mean, most people go through this in some way. Yeah. But I try and help people pivot as well. Right. And encourage them and give them some tools to think about as well. Because we've seen that I've pivoted a few times. Music video director, video game designer, editor-in-chief. And now I'm doing this agency programs. Yeah. Video game executive, that was in there somewhere as well.
Okay. So do you think going back to school is a good option for some of these people, like mid-career folks that have like sort of, I want to become a, video creative, and they drop their jobs and they go do a master's at, film production or something like that. What do you think about that?
It's difficult because everything is happening so quickly. Yeah. And AI is hitting everywhere. And the tool sets, the best practices, they're just shifting all over the place. I would say it's better to have a hybrid approach, to continue working in the world and find out ways to educate yourself. There's certainly a lot of educational programs, if you think of Masterclass, for example, or YouTube. Yeah. YouTube is full of things. Yeah. And of course, you should always be updating yourself and going to conferences and learning. It's a requirement now to be able to have a continuous career in whatever field you're in, creative or not, to continue learning, to build this thing in, for lack of a better term, it sounds corny, but growth mindset. Yeah. Just being good at growing. Because the only constant now is change, and that the rate of change in society is accelerating, as especially this AI wave comes in. So we have to learn to be adaptable. Yeah. So I do have the concern that if you then just break out 4 years here, by the time you get out of your master's degree, everything, the world that you will become completely unrecognizable.
You'll be left behind already, right, at that point.
There's a lot of talk about anyone that's studying computer science is studying for a job that is not needed. Yeah, anymore. AI will do that for you. Yeah. You should be more studying how to prompt the AI to program. Maybe you should need to know enough to check the work of the AI and how to test, etc. So the goalposts are just shifting so rapidly. Yeah. It's a bit of a crazy time.
Yeah. What do you, what's the biggest problem that your students are encountering though right now?
Oh, I didn't finish the thought. So the way that I feel like I can help people is I give workshops sometimes. Sometimes they're in person at RACESERVICE. I did a series of 10 workshops last year into this year where I interview my friends and colleagues who have done well with their creative careers. And we look at different aspects of the requirements of being a functional 360-degree creative.
Is that the night school things that you're doing, or is that different?
No.
That's different? Okay.
Yeah. These are what I do personally.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And then I create content about different aspects of creative careers, because we often will find there's a hole in our game. Yeah. Right? You might have someone that is an incredible singer. They're so connected, but they just don't create that regularly. Or you might have someone that's an incredible electronic musician. They can sit in their bedroom all day long, make the most amazing dance tracks, but they are just so shy they can't talk to anyone. Right. They have no manager. If a record label came to them and wanted a meeting, they'd run away and go hide in their closet. So there's a lot of people like this. So I'm trying to help everyone and show them all the different aspects. I say that creative skill, creative vision is maybe 30% of what you need. You need to be able to talk about your work, present it, be organized, be consistent. All these things are very important. So I've been trying to promote those aspects.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So you've been, mixing creative and motorsports and automotive.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think motorsport is heading right now?
Well, interestingly, one of my main clients now is Formula E.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm quite involved with them as a client. They're my main client at RACESERVICE currently.
Okay.
So I look at what they're doing and how they're trying to look at the future of having an immersive experience at a racing track or building a street circuit, that type of thing, which is quite intriguing. But we can also look at where NASCAR has led the way, racing as an entertainment property. I think they were the first in that direction. And then Formula One followed. But we can see that both of those motorsports organizations really understand that you have to have a cast of characters, there have to be storylines, and then you have to be able to take those storylines and broadcast them outward across an ecosystem of content, different platforms, etc. And then also have a good on-site experience. Mm-hmm. I was at the Las Vegas GP and I was so impressed with I was working with T-Mobile, and so I was in the T-Mobile area, but the experience there, being a spectator, it felt like the future of motorsports. Yeah. Looking further into the future, I think when augmented reality comes in, right now we have the Meta glasses that can record, but when we have a layer of augmented reality, and that's just in all glasses or in your contact lenses, then you're going to see the spectating experience change quite a bit. Yeah. Because spectating itself hasn't changed very much, right? Mm-hmm. The first innovation might have been a leaderboard, right? Yeah. Some numbers, so you could look at it and see what was happening.
An app now, right? That's pretty much it, right?
Then there might have been a tannoy system, loudspeakers, someone talking, right? They invented that somewhere. Then they had the Jumbotron. There hasn't been any innovation since, has there? When did Jumbotron start appearing trackside?
Real recently, I think, right?
It's been probably
15, 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's recent, though.
Yeah,
in
I guess,
motorsport, right? Yeah.
But since then, there hasn't been much innovation for the trackside experience. And sometimes being a racist can get a little boring after a while.
You did some augmented reality stuff at Robo Race, right? Wasn't that some of the things that you tried to do?
We did some prototypes and some future forecasting as to what a future experience could be like. With audience participation, we imagined that you could have a virtual reality orb. You could throw it on the track and create a power-up strip for your team, or there'd be virtual drone battles in the sky. We wanted to give this feeling that if you were at one of these events without the augmented reality glasses, you would have no idea what was going on. Right, people are running around. Yeah. But I think that's a little bit further away before we really see things like that. But I'm happy to see that motorsports series seem to have adapted well to the modern era, and NASCAR, Formula One, WEC, I love sports cars, drifting, are all doing quite well as motorsports properties. Yeah. And we're involved with all those different series. I think there's other race series that maybe are having a bit more challenge, like remember the hype wave around Rallycross? Where did Rallycross go? Yeah. Or even WRC. I don't really know where it's at these days, or if the following is what it used to be. But I love racing. You love racing. Yeah, we'll be at the racetrack no matter what. Yeah.
How do you think about, so you've been involved in video games and things like that, and even sim racing. Do you think sim racing is becoming a lot more closer to real racing these days, or is it still sort of a separate thing that people do?
Well, I think from a driving perspective and a tire model perspective, there's less of a gap, less of a delta between how you drive in sim to how you drive in reality.
Yeah.
There still will be a little bit of a difference, but that has narrowed. If you look at, say, the iRacing tire model, during the pandemic, there were a lot of racing drivers who were driving iRacing, and some of them, my understanding, they're a little critical of the tire model.
Yep.
And there's been new tire models that have come in, and my understanding is that people are a lot happier now with the realism. Certainly, if you look at Jos Verstappen, and you hear his thoughts on driving, et cetera, and why he's so involved with sim racing now.
Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Max, not his dad. Yes. Not Jos Verstappen, his son.
Yeah.
We can see that there's definitely an overlap.
Yeah.
And I was involved with Project Cars, and we innovated a carcass model. So if you look at Assetto Corsa, which is a pretty old video game at this stage, the tire model, think of it as a skateboard plastic wheel that's covered in rubber, but it's not squidgy. It doesn't move. There's no air inside.
Right.
And it's a much more simplified tire model.
Right.
We modeled a piece of rubber. It has thickness. It gets hot. Temperature goes from the brakes into the rim. The sidewall flexes, different compounds, and it interacts also with the surface of the road. I think we had 30 points that were happening. That's certainly gone up since. So that was a very advanced model. And then Assetto Corsa Competizione also had a carcass model that came in. Now it's the standard carcass model. So with that type of simulation, the driving and the sim racing driving and real life driving is certainly closer.
Yeah.
Never be exactly the same, but it's definitely closer.
Yeah. I feel like there's still a disconnect, between sim racing and real racing, and there could be even a closer connection.
Well, fundamentally, you're looking at if you're driving with a TV, you're looking at this rectangle, right? That I only drive in VR. Yeah. I have a sim rig at home, the big one. Yeah. And VR for me is you can feel the movement, the subtle movements. Yeah. It's more immersive. Yeah. I'm close to a company called CXC Simulations in Hawthorne. Yeah. And they have this big circular dome that you sit inside. Oh, wow. Okay. I think it's worth over $1 million or something. And that is like VR, but without this thing stuck in your face. Oh, okay. Yeah, truly incredible. Yeah. Yeah, there's always going to be limitations when you're dealing with a rectangle or with a static seat. So you're having to use your eyes to detect the movement. And there's different types of movement systems to try and trigger, your waist or your butt, where you get the feeling of physics of what the chassis is doing. But there's always a translation. Yeah. That's just the nature of the game.
What is inspiring you these days, though? Like creatively, where do you look for inspiration?
I have an interesting relationship with social media, Instagram, and that I try and curate a feed that inspires me. Okay. And if I'm seeing something that makes me feel like I'm not doing enough with my life or jealous or someone is just too self-congratulatory, I mute it. So, because I know that social media can cause mental health issues, right? You look at, you think that you're not doing enough with your life or your six pack is not defined enough or whatever it is.
It's not six enough.
It's not. So you got a one pack. Yeah. I'm happy with my one pack. But so that's one aspect is I try and curate a feed incoming. In terms of cars, well, I just came back from Goodwood and I love that
inspiration.
Event.
Yeah.
And some of the events over there, I was also a judge at Players Classic. This is the level of cars in the UK. Yeah. It's truly amazing. I'm also very inspired by the team at RACESERVICE. There's such an amazing group of people that have been gathered to be part of this crew. Is a tremendous joy every day. Yeah. I love going there and seeing all the great work that all the different designers and creatives and filmmakers are doing there. Yeah. So that elevates you if you're part of a team and everyone's doing such good work. Yeah. That really will develop you. I'm lucky right now in that I'm spending 50% of my time in Europe. And I'm doing creative strategy for the Time Attack series there. So I'm going to all these different events in the UK. And I don't fly over individually for each event because the jet lag is just too much to deal with. So I'll stay over there for a few weeks. And sometimes I'll go and travel to meet up with my artist friends or my friends that run brands, etc. So I recently spent a bit of time in Berlin just meeting with all the creatives over there.
Yeah.
And I do love the mentality of European creatives.
Yeah.
It's more focused on culture and doing something innovative for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And so I find that viewpoint very, very inspirational.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. We're coming up on time a little bit.
Yeah.
Thanks for the Hot Wheels, by the way. I've seen. This is your personal car.
Yes,
right?
it's my crowning achievement in life.
Yeah, I've seen this car several times in different liveries too.
Yeah, that's the current livery.
Yeah, this is the current one.
We're about to redo the car for SEMA.
So, okay, nice.
At SEMA 2025 November, we'll unveil the new look.
Great.
It's going to be a collaboration with Acronym, the Berlin-based apparel label. We're working with them. And there's a wheel company, MV Forge, that we're working with too, with a triangular collab, also with Acronym. So we're doing this Acronym wheels, and then the car will be on display in the South Hall.
Great.
So that's a new project that we're doing, which is very exciting.
Very exciting, yeah.
And there will be Hot Wheels as well.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, cool. We have a segment on the show called Rapid Fire. Creative Drive Rapid Fire.
Okay.
I've got a set of questions that just whatever comes to mind immediately, just let us know.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
Yeah, here we go. So, favorite race car design of all time?
Favorite race car design of all time would be the Porsche 935. There are many Porsche 935s. I would go with the Kramer K4 variant.
Very nice. Favorite motorsport moment?
Favorite motorsport moment, the first one that pops to mind is when Mika Häkkinen overtook Michael Schumacher at the top of the straight at Spa with Riccardo Zonta in between. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So that moment, I think that was Spa 99.
Yeah. Good one. Favorite driver of all time?
Favorite driver of all time, Jackie Ickx comes to mind.
Okay.
He was in F1 in the late 60s, won Le Mans so many times, drove all sorts of amazing Porsche race cars, and of course drove the 935. Yeah.
That's a good one too.
Very good looking as well, isn't he?
No, he's a good looking dude, yeah. Go-to source for creative inspiration outside of auto?
Inspiration outside of automotive would be music.
Who's your favorite artist, music artist?
Well, there's several. I'm a big fan of Chelsea Wolfe. She does a mix of different styles from doom metal to alternative to more electronic.
Okay.
My favorite band of the moment is called Pixel Grip.
Okay.
They're from Chicago. They make this industrial electro music.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Super cool, very stylish, kind of sexy.
Nice.
I like it.
Nice. Biggest phobia?
Biggest phobia would be large groups of drunk people.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all screaming at a television.
Project that pissed people off. Have you ever been part of a project that pissed people off? It doesn't have to be your client. It could be a competitor, or it could be anyone. But was there
as Speedhunters? There was a period of time where the Super Street crew really did not like Speedhunters.
I see.
I've heard stories that we would put, whenever we shot a feature car, we would put the sticker on the car. And I heard stories that Super Street put their sticker right on top. No names mentioned. Yeah. I know exactly who did it. But they put their stickers on top.
Yeah.
But we were purposely being very disruptive. And we were local. Yeah. Right? We were West Coast.
Yeah.
and we were shooting the cars that they wanted to shoot, and publishing them right away.
Right.
It was very hard for them.
Yeah. Well, it's because they would shoot a car, and then, as you were saying, the magazines would come out 2 months later.
Yeah.
And people would have already seen those cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your most prized possession?
My Porsche 935
car. Yeah.
This thing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well,
it's
been at Luftgekühlt.
I tell people
everywhere.
that owning a classic car maybe it's a bit like owning a horse.
Mm-hmm.
This thing takes up space in your life.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's love, sometimes it's hate.
Yeah.
But it definitely is a thing.
Yeah. We'll never sell it. So we have another segment, which is kind of easy, but it's called Who's Boosting It?
You'll have to explain to me.
Yeah, so I want you to name a creator, an artist, who's boosting it right now, who's doing good, a event, and a brand. By the way, you can't mention Race Service because it's your brand. So I want to know a brand, event, an artist who's boosting it right now. And people have mentioned Race Service numerous times as the brand or the event that's boosting it right now on the show, by the way.
Well, I'll just go with the first thing that comes to mind is I look at Larry Chen, who's a friend of mine, and I've been in his world in different ways, sometimes closer, sometimes we're just too busy to spend too much time together. But I look at his trajectory and I find it so inspirational. Yeah. Also, he's not the most, the loudest person. And he's kind of a quiet, focused person, but yet he has crafted this trajectory as a public-facing creator that's phenomenal. Definitely. And he's built a very solid business, and he's got a very good crew, and he's still doing client work. So much kudos to Larry Chen.
Definitely. Yeah. How about event?
An event
that's boosting it right now.
I would say it's Luftgekühlt. I have a lot of respect for the team there and how they have crafted it. They're very much focused on the curated experience, and they get the details right. At RACESERVICE, we're very focused on curation. We're very, very picky. I think some of the masters of that are the Goodwood Festival of Speed, Goodwood people. But that's been going on for some time. But the Luftgekühlt crew, Jeff and Pat, they have crafted this movement, and they've taken the notion of owning a classic Porsche, or they have Air Water now as well, and they have made that into such a statement, such a community to be part of. And when you drive one of these cars, you feel like you're part of a community. You feel pride in being a part of the Porsche story. But Luftgekühlt have taken that and crafted an amazing event and brand experience. So a lot of respect to them.
No, what they've created is absolutely beautiful.
And we work with them. So I know what it's like to be inside their productions, and a lot of respect.
Brand.
A brand that... Well, I'm just very obsessed with acronym. And there's a video that came out yesterday that I was sharing, and someone was reviewing the acronym Ethos, and they talk about how the design vision of acronym is done first-person perspective, and that they think about what it's like to wear the clothing. All different aspects, the pockets, the different aspects of pockets, how keys go inside the pocket, where your phone goes, whether you're walking upstairs, is it pulling can you own the thing for 20 years? When you're walking the airport, you get too hot, you take the jacket off, are you holding it in your hand, or can you sling it? Whereas most fashion and clothing is third-person perspective. It's very much about this extroverted curating. Look at my style. Look how much money I spent. Look at how much I know the trends. But the clothing is not necessarily engineered, and a lot of it's trend-based, meaning it's going to go out of fashion, or you're going to wear it 3 times and then throw it away and go after the next trend.
Yeah.
Whereas the vision of acronym flies in the face of all those things. And they try and create a relationship with the clothing that is permanent, that you will get this jacket and you will wear it for 10 years. Or you'll have a pair of trousers and you can go work out in it. You can go to an art opening. You can go hiking, or you can just lounge around the house.
Yeah.
And it does all those things. So I have so much respect for this brand. And the last thing I'd say is, I don't know if you experienced that, but to be Asian American, I kind of grew up Canadian with that.
North American.
We grew up with a bit of bias, a lot of bias against us because of how we were portrayed in media.
Yeah.
We were always the nerds, the geeks, the butt of the jokes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we never had a archetype for us to feel empowered in our identity. And acronym has given us that. We can feel like a badass protagonist in a science fiction film.
Oh, that's cool.
And the silhouettes come from different parts of Asia, Asian culture.
Yeah.
And I really am so grateful that I can be embracing my heritage as someone that's of Asian heritage. I'm half Hispanic too, but
your mom's from Colombia. Right?
Yeah. But still, we can feel empowered and strong.
Yeah.
And still feel like we're tapping into that aspect of the histories of different parts of Asian culture.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I find so inspirational about acronym.
No, that's cool.
Yeah. Sorry, that's a long-winded answer.
No, that's cool. I mean, we didn't touch it, but Asian American. I mean, growing up Asian is a completely different experience than growing up another race.
Yeah.
And
I think growing up in SoCal might be different.
Well, I didn't grow up here.
Yeah. Well, then you know what it's like to be the only Asian.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I went to high school in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So probably similar experiences then.
Yeah, probably.
To me. Yeah.
You grew up in Vancouver, right?
Yes.
There are a lot of Asians in Vancouver. No?
Not at the time when I was growing up. No, not like it is now. No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. I mean, when I think you and I are about the close, but age. But when we were growing up, I mean, we had no Asian heroes, right? We really had no Asian heroes.
There was Bruce Lee,
exactly,
kind of.
Yeah,
but,
right. It was like Bruce Lee. It's like, oh, you're Japanese. Do you know Bruce Lee? That was kind of the thing. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like,
but I was a punk, right?
Yeah.
And a goth.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lee didn't really fit into that. I wasn't really into martial arts either.
Yeah.
So, there was a disconnect.
Yeah.
There weren't heroes at the time.
No, nowadays it's totally different. I think, even athletes, you have, Shohei Ohtani, so being a kid growing up and you're an athletic, it's like, why aren't you in math class, right? It's like, it was completely different. And even with culture, now.
And I'm Jamaican, so I wanted to be cool, right? I want to vibe,
right?
And my thing, and so the Asian kids, I'd be like, "But you're nerds. You're not cool. Why? Look how you're dressed.
Yeah,
look at me, my leather jacket, right?"
Yeah.
But there was nothing. I was completely alone.
Yeah,
totally alone.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's how you became an introverted kid, or were you originally?
No, I was already pre-programmed like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like I was telling you, it's like I was a shy kid too, It's like I wasn't like the confident kid, the loud extrovert. It was, and I think a lot of Asians are like that though, It's more introverted than.
There's a subtlety to the culture,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, Rod, I mean, thanks for your time today. I mean, I've known you for a long time actually, but we've never really sat down and had a conversation. We were going to have this conversation. We were just going to have coffee, but we decided to just do it on the show. I've got a podcast. Yeah. So thanks for coming. I have a last question.
Okay.
We ask all of our guests. What is your creative drive?
My creative drive.
Yeah.
I am a traditional creative in that I must create.
Mm-hmm.
If I do not create, I do not exist. I just have all these ideas and images and things rattling around in my head, and I have to get them out.
Yeah.
I have to execute. So it's built into the wiring. I must create, otherwise sad.
Yeah.
So it's just something that has to be.
All right. Awesome. Well,
Well,
Rod,
thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure, man.
Yeah, great
Appreciate it.
convo.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks for watching and listening to The Creative Drive, where we offer listeners a candid look into the minds of automotive creators and their journeys. The Creative Drive is available on all podcast platforms, and we have more awesome guests lined up for you guys, so please subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. If you're interested in partnering with us, or if you have any feedback, please email us at podcast@racer.com or DM us in our Instagram. The Creative Drive is produced by Molly Binks from Racer Studio, directed by TJ Keon, creative director George Tamayo, and edited by Andrew Snyder. We've got New Nick, OG Nick, and Morgan on the socials. I'm your host, Taro Koki. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time.